Good evening, everyone. Life has a way of testing us. It throws storms, it shakes our foundations, and sometimes it introduces us to people who challenge our very sense of self. There will be times when you feel powerless, when you think that justice, fairness, and truth are just words, empty, floating, meaningless. There will be people who walk into your life and believe they can define your worth. They will try to control your choices, your dreams, your future. But let me tell you something. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to prove yourself to someone who never deserved a seat at your table. Because time will do what you want. Time will break him. You see, time is the greatest equalizer. It doesn't need revenge. It doesn't need rage. It simply waits. And as it waits, those who build their lives on lies, deceit, and power games begin to crumble under the weight of their own actions. So don't waste your energy trying to change what is not yours to fix. Instead, stand tall, focus on yourself, elevate your mind, your soul, your success, because when you rise, when you thrive, you don't just survive the storm, you become it. Let karma do what it does best. Let time do what it always does. You won't choose, but time will break him. And when that happens, don't look back, look ahead. Because the best revenge is a life lived in unstoppable, unapologetic greatness. Thank you. Life has an extraordinary way of putting us in situations where we are forced to confront who we are, what we stand for, and how much we are willing to endure. It does not always come in the form of external hardships like failures, setbacks, or unforeseen tragedies. Sometimes it comes wrapped in the presence of people, individuals who test the very essence of our being. These are the ones who challenge our sense of self, not always in obvious ways, but in the subtle, piercing manner that makes us question our worth, our strength, and even our reality. These people come in different forms. Sometimes they walk into our lives as friends, partners, mentors, or colleagues, people we trust, people we admire, people we believe in. They do not always appear as villains in the beginning. In fact, they often seem like the very thing we needed. Someone who understands us, supports us, or even inspires us. But time, as it always does, reveals the truth. Slowly, their words turn sharp, their actions unpredictable, and their presence more draining than fulfilling. They begin to undermine our confidence, subtly making us doubt our choices, our abilities, and our dreams. It does not happen overnight. It is a slow process, one that chips away at us little by little. It starts with small comments disguised as concern. Are you sure this is the right decision for you? Do you really think you're capable of handling this? Maybe you should lower your expectations. Words that may seem harmless at first, but over time create cracks in our self-belief. They challenge our perception of what we can do, making us hesitant, making us second-guess the very things we once felt sure about. Then comes control, not the kind that is forceful and obvious, but the kind that seeps into our lives so subtly that we barely notice. They set expectations for how we should behave, what we should say, and what dreams are realistic for us to pursue. They begin to dictate the way we move through life, and before we even realize it, we find ourselves adapting to fit their version of who we should be. It's not always about words. Sometimes it's about their silence, the lack of support when we need it the most, the absence of encouragement when we dare to dream bigger. The hardest part is that these people don't always appear cruel. In fact, they often wear the mask of care, of love, of friendship. They make us believe that their words and actions are for our own good, and because we trust them, because we want to believe the best in them, we let them in. We allow them to shape our thoughts, to influence our decisions, to take up space in our minds, and the more we let them, the further we drift from our own truth. But life has a way of forcing us to wake up. There comes a moment, a breaking point, where we begin to see things for what they truly are. Maybe it's a small realization, a single moment of clarity, or a painful lesson that finally makes us understand we have been living in the shadow of someone else's perception of us. That is, when we are faced with the most important choice, whether to continue allowing them to dictate our worth or to take back control. There's a natural instinct within us to defend ourselves, to prove our point, to fight against every injustice we face. It comes from a place of pride, a place of self-respect, and sometimes even from pain. When someone wrongs us, when we are misunderstood, when our worth is questioned, The immediate reaction is to respond, to engage in battle, to set the record straight. We want to make sure that the world sees the truth, that those who hurt us know they cannot get away with it, that justice is served in the way we envision it. But life teaches us, often the hard way, that not every battle is worth fighting. Some things are best left to time. The urge to fight every battle is driven by emotion, anger, betrayal, disappointment. These feelings push us to react. But reacting in the heat of the moment rarely brings the resolution we hope for. It drains us, consumes us, and sometimes makes us just as bitter as the people we are fighting against. The truth is, there are battles that no matter how hard we fight, will never be won in the way we desire. Some people will never understand our perspective, no matter how clearly we explain it. Some situations will never unfold the way we expect them to, no matter how much effort we put in. And some people, no matter how much they have wronged us, will never admit their faults. Engaging in unnecessary battles only takes away our peace. The more we invest our energy in proving a point, the more we allow the person or situation to control us. We replay conversations in our heads, think of things we should have said, and spend sleepless nights planning our next move. And while we are doing all of this, life moves on. The world keeps turning, and we find ourselves stuck in a place that no longer deserves our time or attention. The irony is, the very people we are trying to prove something to often don't care as much as we think they do. They have moved on while we are still carrying the weight of the battle. There is power in choosing silence. There is strength in walking away. It is not weakness, nor is it surrender. It is understanding that some fights are beneath us, some explanations are unnecessary, and some people are simply not worth the effort. When we refuse to engage, when we refuse to be pulled into unnecessary chaos, we are not losing, we are freeing ourselves. We are choosing to protect our energy, our peace, and our dignity. And then there is time. Time has a way of revealing truth in ways that no argument ever could. The people who have built their lives on lies, on manipulation, on deceit, they eventually face the consequences of their actions. It may not happen when we want it to, and it may not happen in the way we imagine, but it happens. Time has a way of bringing people face to face with themselves, forcing them to confront the weight of their choices. What was once hidden eventually comes to light. What was once misunderstood eventually finds clarity. And the battles we walked away from, they often resolve themselves without us ever having to lift a finger. Lies are easy. They offer shortcuts, illusions of success, and temporary victories. Some people build entire lives on them, fabricated stories, false promises, and carefully crafted appearances designed to manipulate, deceive, and control. At first, it seems effortless. They move through the world with confidence, convincing those around them that they are more powerful, more successful, or more righteous than they truly are. They weave lies so intricately that even they start to believe in them. But no matter how convincing the facade, no matter how many people they manage to deceive, the truth has weight. And those who build on lies will ultimately fall under that weight. A lie may bring temporary advantage. It may open doors, win trust, or provide a false sense of power. But the problem with lies is that they require maintenance. One lie leads to another and then another. A person who lies must constantly calculate, constantly manipulate, ensuring that their web remains intact. They must remember what they said, who they said it to, and how it aligns with the rest of their deception. And while it may work for a while, every additional lie adds to the pressure. Like a house built on a cracked foundation, it can only hold up for so long before the structure collapses. People who rely on deception often underestimate the power of time. They assume that as long as they control the narrative, as long as they keep people distracted, the truth will remain buried. But time is relentless. It is patient, it is silent, and it never forgets. The truth does not need to fight its way out. It simply waits for the moment when the weight of deception becomes unbearable. When that moment comes, the collapse is never graceful. It is rarely a single dramatic revelation. Instead, it is a slow unraveling. The cracks begin to show. People start to notice inconsistencies, trust erodes, and once the illusion is broken, it cannot be rebuilt. The ones who build on lies believe they are outsmarting the world, but in reality, they are only outsmarting themselves. The greatest burden they carry is not the fear of being caught. It is the emptiness that comes from knowing that everything they have is fragile, that their victories are hollow, that their relationships are built on nothing real. No matter how high they climb, they remain prisoners of their own deception, always looking over their shoulders, always fearing the moment when the truth will finally surface. And it always does. Some people fall spectacularly, exposed in front of the world, their deception laid bare for all to see. Others crumble in silence, breaking under the weight of their own lies in ways no one else may even notice. They lose themselves, piece by piece, until they are nothing more than shadows of who they once pretended to be. The things they built, whether careers, relationships, or reputations, begin to slip through their fingers because nothing built on deception can last forever. It may seem unfair when we see people who lie and manipulate succeed, at least for a time. It is tempting to want to expose them, to bring their lies crashing down ourselves, but that is unnecessary. The weight of their own falsehoods is already working against them. The longer they run, the heavier it becomes. And when they finally fall, it will not be because someone pushed them. It will be because they could no longer carry the weight of their own making. The truth does not need force, nor does it need revenge. It only needs patience, because in the end, those who build on lies will not just be broken by the truth, they will be broken by the very foundation they chose to stand on. When faced with challenges, betrayals, or disappointments, the instinctive reaction is often to fight back, to prove a point, or to seek validation from those who doubted us. We want justice, we want acknowledgement, we want the world to see the truth. But the most powerful response is not retaliation. It is not engaging in unnecessary battles or wasting energy trying to change people's opinions. The best response is focusing on personal growth and success, on becoming so strong, so fulfilled, and so deeply aligned with your own purpose that nothing and no one can shake you. Personal growth is not just about improving skills or achieving career milestones. It is about evolving into the best version of yourself, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It means becoming more self-awareness, understanding your strengths, and recognizing your weaknesses without shame. It means letting go of past versions of yourself that no longer serve you and stepping into a space of self-empowerment. True growth happens when you stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for fulfillment. When you focus on your journey, the noise around you fades. The opinions, judgments, and manipulations of others lose their power because your energy is no longer invested in them. Success, too, is a deeply personal journey. It is not about proving something to the people who doubted you, nor is it about achieving something out of spite. Real success is about walking your own path with confidence, about setting goals that align with your values and aspirations rather than external expectations. It is about rising above negativity, about refusing to be defined by the setbacks or betrayals you have faced. When you commit to your own success, you take back control. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Instead of spending time dwelling on the past, you channel that energy into something meaningful, your work, your passions, your dreams. The most powerful thing about focusing on personal growth and success is that it is a silent response. It does not require words. It does not require arguments. It does not seek validation. Instead, it allows actions to speak for themselves. When you grow, when you succeed, when you build a life that is full and meaningful, those who once doubted you will have no choice but to take notice, and by then it will no longer matter. Because the greatest victory is realizing that their opinions never truly defined you in the first place. There is an unmatched freedom in choosing to focus on yourself rather than the people who have wronged you. It means reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace. It means prioritizing what truly matters instead of being distracted by things that do not contribute to your happiness. And it means understanding that the best way to move forward is not by engaging in battles that drain you, but by rising so high above them that they become irrelevant. People who thrive in negativity, who rely on manipulation, who seek to control others, they do so because they feed off reactions. They expect you to engage, to defend yourself, to fall into the same cycle of toxicity. But when you remove yourself from that cycle and redirect your focus toward your own success, you take away their power. You no longer operate within their framework. Instead, you create your own, one that is built on strength, self-belief, and unwavering confidence in your own path. And as you grow, as you succeed, as you become the person you were always meant to be, you realize something profound. You were never meant to fight battles that drain you. You were meant to rise, to evolve, to thrive. You were meant to build something so powerful within yourself that no external force can shake it. And that is the most powerful response of all. Karma and time are the quiet forces of the universe, working in ways that are often unseen but always undeniable. They do not rush, nor do they seek validation. They do not need an audience, nor do they demand recognition. Instead, they move patiently, steadily, weaving the fabric of justice in ways that no human intervention ever could. While people may deceive, manipulate, or act without conscience, they can never escape the consequences of their actions, because karma and time work in silence, delivering justice in their own way. There is an illusion that wrongdoing goes unnoticed, that those who harm others or act with dishonesty can continue without repercussions. It may seem like they are winning, like they are ahead, like they have managed to outsmart fairness itself. But that is only because karma does not operate on human schedules. It does not deliver immediate punishment, nor does it announce its arrival. Instead, it waits, it watches, and when the moment is right, it balances the scales in ways that no one can escape. Karma is not about vengeance. It is not about delivering pain for pain or making people suffer for their wrongdoings in a way we imagine. It is about the natural law of the universe, that what we put out into the world will eventually return to us. Those who spread kindness, integrity, and goodness will see it reflected back in their lives, sometimes in the most unexpected ways, and those who build their lives on deception, cruelty, and selfishness will at some point face the weight of their choices. The most interesting part is that karma often does not strike in obvious ways. It does not always appear as punishment, nor does it always look like a direct consequence. Instead, it works subtly, often bringing people to face themselves in the most personal and profound ways. Time, too, plays a crucial role in delivering justice. The truth may be hidden for a while, but it is never erased. People can build entire lives on lies, on manipulation, on illusion, but time has a way of revealing everything. It peels away masks, exposes weaknesses, and forces reality to surface. The people who seemed untouchable, who appeared to have everything under control, who built their power on falsehoods, eventually time strips them of their illusion. Sometimes it happens publicly, with everything falling apart before the world's eyes. Other times it happens internally, where they are left alone to face the emptiness of their own choices. Either way, time ensures that no one escapes the truth forever. What makes karma and time so powerful is that they do not need us to interfere. Often we feel the need to act, to correct the injustices we see, to make sure that those who have wronged us or others get what they deserve. But the moment we let go of that need, the moment we trust that life has its own way of setting things right, we free ourselves. We no longer carry the weight of anger, the burden of wanting to see someone else fall. Instead, we step back, focus on our own path, and allow karma and time to do their work. And they always do. The greatest proof of their power is that the people who act with malice are rarely at peace. They may have success, they may appear happy, but inside they are always running from guilt, from truth, from the consequences they know will come. And when the moment arrives when everything they have built on dishonesty begins to crumble, it is not because someone forced it. It is because karma and time have worked together, silently, inevitably, bringing everything full circle. In the end, no one escapes the justice of time. No one is immune to karma. The universe moves at its own pace, balancing things in ways beyond human understanding. And for those who have been wronged, for those who wonder if fairness still exists, the answer is simple: trust in the silent forces. Because karma and time always deliver exactly when they are meant to. Revenge is often seen as a reaction, a way to balance the scales after betrayal, pain, or injustice. The desire to prove someone wrong, to make them regret underestimating you, or to watch them suffer the way they made you suffer is a natural human instinct. But true revenge does not come from retaliation, from anger, or from sinking to the level of those who cause harm. The best revenge is not about destruction. It is about elevation. It is about thriving beyond what anyone imagined for you. When someone tries to diminish you, they expect you to be consumed by their actions. They expect you to dwell in anger, to waste energy fighting battles that drain you, to remain stuck in the pain they inflicted. They want to see you struggle because in their minds, your suffering validates their power over you. But the moment you shift your focus from them to yourself, the moment you turn your pain into fuel rather than a prison, you take back control. You refuse to let them define you. And that is the greatest victory. Thriving is not just about success in the material sense. It is not just about proving a point through wealth, status, or achievements. It is about living a life so full, so rich in experience, growth, and fulfillment that their actions no longer hold any weight. It is about reaching a place where their opinions, their judgments, and their expectations become insignificant, because the true measure of success is not in how much you impress others, but in how deeply you satisfy your own soul. There is something undeniably powerful about outgrowing the very circumstances meant to break you. When you transform pain into progress, when you rise above negativity without letting it taint your spirit, you do more than just move on, you ascend. You step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and untouchable. And when those who doubted you, underestimated you, or tried to hold you back finally see where you have reached, they will realize the truth. They did not break you. They only pushed you towards something greater. The beauty of thriving as a form of revenge is that it does not require you to look back. It does not demand bitterness or the need for validation. It allows you to walk away, head held high, completely unbothered by the past. Because in the end, nothing unsettles those who wished you harm more than seeing you flourish. Without them, beyond them, despite them. Success, happiness, and inner peace are the ultimate responses to adversity. When you focus on building yourself, when you pour your energy into growth instead of resentment, you create a future so expansive that the past becomes nothing more than a lesson. And when you reach that point, you will understand that the best revenge was never about them. It was always about becoming everything you were meant to be, despite every obstacle that tried to stop you.